There comes a moment in life, quiet, almost invisible, when you realize no one is coming to save you. Not the friends who said they'd stay. Not the family who never understood. Not the world that keeps spinning while you sit there, breaking into pieces silently. And in that moment, you face the one truth nobody wants to say out loud: you have been abandoning yourself for far too long. You gave your energy to people who drained it. You gave your loyalty to those who never earned it. You gave your time, your power, your love. Every single piece of you. To everything and everyone except you. You owe no one your silence. Speak your truth even if your voice shakes. There's a cost to staying quiet. It starts small, an uneasy feeling in your chest, a hesitation in your words, a tiny betrayal of what you really feel just to keep things peaceful. But silence doesn't protect you. It corrodes you. Every time you bite your tongue when you want to speak, a part of you disappears. Every time you nod when you should have said no, you shrink. And every time you choose peace for others over peace within yourself, you hand over a piece of your soul. People often tell us to stay quiet, to be agreeable, to not stir the waters. Especially if you've been raised in environments where conflict was feared, where speaking out meant rejection or punishment. Your brain learns that silence equals safety. But that safety is an illusion, because while you might avoid confrontation on the outside, inside, you're at war with yourself. You feel unseen, dismissed, overlooked, and worst of all, you begin to believe that your voice doesn't matter. But here's the truth: if your voice shakes, it's because you're saying something that matters. Speaking up isn't about being loud. It's about being real. It's about choosing honesty over comfort, truth over approval. And yes, it will feel terrifying. Especially at first. Your body will resist. Your heart will pound. Your hands might tremble. You'll doubt yourself. You'll wonder if maybe, just maybe, staying silent would have been easier. But easy doesn't change your life. Easy doesn't break generational patterns. Easy doesn't build strength. Speaking up, that's where the transformation begins. When you begin to speak your truth, you realize that not everyone is going to like it. Some people will walk away. Some will accuse you of changing. Some will call you difficult, dramatic, too much. But that is not your burden to carry. Their comfort is not your responsibility. Your truth is not negotiable. It doesn't need to be filtered, softened, or made palatable for others to digest. You're not here to fit into a version of yourself that makes other people feel okay. You're here to live in alignment with who you really are. And there is incredible power in reclaiming your voice. When you start to speak up for yourself, even in the smallest moments, your world begins to shift. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop making excuses for people who don't value you. You stop abandoning yourself just to keep someone else from walking away. You begin to realize that your boundaries are sacred. Your needs are valid. Your feelings are real, and you don't need anyone's permission to honor them. There's a moment, always, that comes after you speak your truth. A silence. A pause. The world doesn't end. The sky doesn't fall. Sometimes nothing even happens. But something within you stands taller. You feel it, a quiet strength that wasn't there before. That's your integrity returning. That's your inner child finally feeling protected. That's the part of you who once felt voiceless, finally breathing free. You may not be able to change the past. You may not be able to go back and speak the words you held inside all those years. But you have now, and now matters. Every time you speak with courage, you rewrite your story. You remind yourself that you are not small. You are not invisible. You are not here to be tolerated. You are here to be heard. Speak your truth in relationships. If it hurts, say so. If you feel neglected, say so. If you need more love, attention, respect, just say so. The right people will lean in, not walk away. And the ones who do leave, let them. Because if someone only stays when you're silent, they were never really with you. They were with a version of you that made their life easier. That's not love. That's control. Real connection starts when you stop pretending and start expressing. Speak your truth at work. In your dreams. In the things you want to create and the life you want to build. Stop shrinking your goals to fit into someone else's idea of realistic. Stop hiding your talents because you're afraid of being judged. Stop playing small so you don't outshine someone else's comfort zone. Your truth is your gift to the world. You are here to do something. To be someone. And that begins the moment you stop silencing your truth to make others comfortable. There will be consequences. Let's not pretend otherwise. Speaking your truth might mean conflict. It might mean loss. It might mean stepping into unfamiliar territory. But what's on the other side of that fear is freedom. Self-respect. Alignment. Inner peace. And that is worth everything. The world does not need more agreeable people. It needs more people who are alive, awake, present. People who can look in the mirror and say, I may not be perfect, but I am honest. I may not please everyone, but I am real. I may not have all the answers, but I have my truth, and I will not abandon it again. You don't owe anyone your silence. Not your parents, not your partner, not your friends, not your boss, not society. You owe yourself your voice, and when you use it, not in anger, but in truth, not to hurt, but to heal, not to dominate, but to declare who you are, something shifts. People see the real you, the world adjusts, and you become unshakable. Not because life gets easier, but because you finally stopped betraying yourself to keep it all together. Let your voice tremble. Let your hands shake. Let your breath hitch. Speak anyway. Because the most powerful thing you will ever do in this life is stand tall in your truth. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, and especially when it's the only thing left that's truly yours. Protect your peace like it's your life, because it is. There is a point where chaos becomes normal. You get used to noise, used to being pulled in 1,000 directions, used to running on empty. You start believing that exhaustion is just part of life. That anxiety is a sign you're being productive. That constant availability equals love, and saying yes makes you a good person. But peace, true peace, is not the absence of noise. It's the presence of self-respect. It's the quiet you feel inside when your life is aligned with your values, not someone else's expectations. Most people don't realize their peace has been taken until it's gone. You wake up one day and feel like a stranger in your own skin. You've said yes so many times. You've forgotten what a no feels like. You've given so much of yourself that there's barely anything left. That's the danger of living without boundaries. That's what happens when you make your energy a public resource instead of a sacred space. You were not born to carry everything. You were not created to be available 24/7 to people who treat you like an emotional vending machine. Your heart is not a doormat, your time is not disposable, and your spirit is not unbreakable. Everything has limits, even you. Especially you. The world will not protect your peace for you. It will demand more, take more, expect more, until there's nothing left. That's why protecting your peace is not optional. It's necessary. It's the highest form of self-respect. It's how you tell the world, I matter. My well-being is not negotiable. My soul is not for sale. Start with your environment. Who you spend time with is who you become. If you're always around drama, conflict, gossip, or negativity, don't be surprised when your spirit feels heavy. Energy is contagious. Just like smoke, toxicity seeps into your skin. And over time, you carry it. Even when you're alone. Protect your peace by protecting your space. That means sometimes walking away from people who once felt like home. It means loving some people from a distance. It means cutting ties, not out of hate, but out of healing. Your peace is your compass. If someone constantly leaves you feeling drained, confused, belittled, or anxious, don't ignore that. Your body is trying to warn you. Trust it. Protecting your peace isn't cruel. It's clarity. It's finally realizing that just because someone has access to you doesn't mean they have a right to stay. Protect your peace with your schedule. Stop glorifying business. Being overwhelmed is not a badge of honor. It's a sign you've said yes too many times out of guilt. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to take a breath, unplug, and not explain yourself. Saying, I don't have the capacity right now, is not weakness. It's wisdom. People will still try to pull you in. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're selfish. Let them. Every boundary you set will feel like rejection to someone who benefited from your lack of one. That's not your fault. That's their healing to do, not yours. Protect your peace in your thoughts. The most dangerous place for chaos is not outside. It's inside your mind. You can be sitting in a quiet room and still feel like you're drowning if your thoughts are at war. You have to filter what you allow in. Stop feeding your mind with comparisons. Social media will lie to you. It will tell you you're behind, unworthy, unloved. Don't believe it. Protect your inner dialogue. Speak to yourself the way you would to someone you love. Be kind. Be honest. Be gentle. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are not what they said when they were angry. You are a work in progress, and you are allowed to take your time. Protect your peace by letting go of the need to control. Control is a trauma response. It's how we try to make sense of a world that once made us feel unsafe. But peace doesn't come from control. It comes from trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in timing. Trust that even if something doesn't go your way, you will still be okay. The need to control everything only creates tension. Let go. Flow. You do not have to grip life with clenched fists. Peace comes when you open your hands. Protect your peace in your choices. Every time you choose alignment over approval, you protect it. Every time you walk away instead of engaging in arguments that go nowhere, you protect it. Every time you choose stillness over noise, solitude over chaos, depth over surface, you build it. Peace is not passive. It is not something that just happens. It is built, moment by moment, decision by decision. And it takes courage. There will be days when peace feels boring. You will miss the drama, the adrenaline, the distractions. That's the addiction of dysfunction. You'll crave the things that once broke you because pain was familiar. But familiar doesn't mean healthy. Just because you're used to chaos doesn't mean you belong in it. Learn to sit in calm without feeling guilty. Learn to love the quiet without needing noise. That's when healing happens. And peace isn't about cutting everyone off. It's about getting honest. Real peace doesn't mean avoidance. It means truth. It means having the hard conversations. Saying what you feel without rage. Setting boundaries without shame. It's not about running, it's about rooting. Rooting into who you are, what you need, and what you refuse to tolerate anymore. You don't need to announce every boundary. You don't need to justify your decisions. Real peace is silent. It just is. It radiates. People can feel it when they're in your presence. It's in the way you respond instead of react. The way you breathe through the storm. The way you no longer explain your worth. That's peace. The most powerful version of you is not the one who wins every battle. It's the one who chooses not to attend every war. It's the one who knows their energy is precious, their spirit is sacred, and their time is limited. And they don't waste any of it on anything, or anyone that doesn't nourish their soul. You don't owe anyone your chaos. You don't need to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You don't need to hustle for your value or earn your rest. Peace is your birthright, not a reward for being exhausted enough to deserve it. You are allowed to choose it. Again and again. Even if no one understands, even if they call you selfish. Even if it means walking alone for a while. Because the truth is, when you start protecting your peace, you don't lose people who love you. You lose people who benefited from your self-abandonment. And that's not loss, that's liberation. Peace isn't a destination. It's a decision. One you make every single day. Choose it. Defend it. Live it. Healing isn't a luxury, it's your responsibility. There's a version of you buried under everything you've survived. A version of you untouched by betrayal, by heartbreak, by disappointment. That version of you still exists, not in some unreachable place, but within. Healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you were before the world taught you to shut down. Before life convinced you that silence was safer than truth. Before you learned to smile through pain just to make others comfortable. Most people think healing happens on its own, over time. They believe wounds close with the passing of days. But time alone doesn't heal, it only hides. What you don't face you carry, and what you carry you project, into your relationships, into your work, into how you see yourself. You can't build a strong life on a fractured foundation. No matter how beautiful the structure, it will always feel unstable. That's why healing isn't optional. It's not something to get around to when you have more time, or when life is less chaotic. Healing is the work. It is the path. It is the key to everything you are trying to become. There is pain you've normalized. Stories you've repeated so many times, they've become your identity. Maybe you were abandoned. Maybe you were criticized. Maybe you were never told you were enough. Maybe you had to grow up too fast. Learn to be tough when all you wanted was to be held. That pain shaped you. It taught you how to survive. But survival and healing are not the same thing. Surviving keeps you alive. Healing teaches you how to live. You owe it to yourself to go back and reclaim the parts of you that had to hide. The child who didn't feel seen. The teen who was told to stay quiet. The adult who gave everything and got nothing in return. You owe it to them. To you. To stop pretending you're okay just because everyone thinks you should be. Healing starts the moment you admit something inside you is still hurting. And there is no shame in that. What's shameful is living a life that's not yours because you're too afraid to face the one thing holding you back, yourself. Healing is messy. It's not linear. It's not pretty. It will not look like a perfectly lit Instagram post with inspirational quotes and candles burning in the background. It will look like crying on the floor at 2 a.m. for reasons you can't explain. It will look like saying no to things you used to tolerate. Like setting boundaries and having people not understand them. Like walking away from people you love, because love should never come at the cost of your sanity. It will also look like peace. Like sleeping through the night without anxiety. Like laughing without guilt. Like being in a room full of people and not feeling invisible. like choosing yourself without apologizing. That's what healing gives you, not perfection but freedom. You don't need to be fixed. You're not broken. You're wounded. There's a difference. Wounds can be healed. They need care. They need space. They need truth. Stop labeling your trauma as personality. You are not just like this. You are like this because of something. And the moment you see that, you get to ask, what do I want to do with it? Carry it for the rest of my life, or finally set it down. No one can do that for you. Healing is your responsibility because no one else is living in your body. No one else is feeling your triggers. No one else knows the wars you fight in your own head every single day. People can support you, yes. But they cannot do the work. They cannot face your fears. They cannot rewrite the stories you've told yourself since you were a child. Only you can do that. And it is hard. And it is scary. But it is worth every step. You cannot heal in the same environment that broke you. Sometimes that means physical distance. But more often it means emotional distance. Detaching from old versions of yourself. Detaching from roles you played just to survive. Detaching from the identity you built around your pain. Healing asks you to get honest about who you've been. And who you want to become. And that honesty is brutal. Because it means letting go of blame. It means taking responsibility not for what happened to you, but for how you choose to live with it now. There is no magic moment where you suddenly wake up healed. Healing is a decision you make every day. It's the decision to stop ignoring the red flags in yourself. It's the decision to go to therapy, to journal, to pray, to talk, to cry, to scream if you have to. It's the decision to stop abandoning yourself when things get uncomfortable. To stay present when it would be easier to numb out. Healing is showing up for yourself, over and over again, until it becomes second nature. The most dangerous lie you can believe is that your pain is permanent. That you'll always be this way. That happiness, stability, joy, they're for other people, not you. That lie is the voice of your wounds, not your truth. Your truth is that you were born with light. That you have always carried strength. That you have survived every single thing that was meant to break you. And if you survived it, you can heal from it. You are not stuck, you are simply scared. And that fear, it's valid. But it doesn't get to lead anymore. Healing is about reclaiming your power. The power to choose differently. To feel without fear. To live without guilt. To love without condition. To speak without apology. To take up space in a world that taught you to shrink. Your healing doesn't just benefit you. It frees everyone around you. It creates healthier relationships. It ends generational cycles. It shows others what's possible. Every time you choose healing, you give someone else permission to do the same. You don't have to do it all at once. Start small. Start today. Start by acknowledging that you deserve better. Not because you've earned it, but because you exist. Because you are here. Because your life matters. Healing is not a luxury. It is your right. And more than that, it is your responsibility. Because no one else can become you. No one else can carry your light. And no one else can live the life you were meant to live. So take the time. Do the work. Face the pain. Hold space for your tears. And never ever forget, you are worthy of a life that feels like peace. Not someday. Not after everyone else is taken care of, not when it's convenient. Now, because healing starts with one brave decision, you deciding that you matter. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. There comes a point where you have to stop seeking permission to exist. To stop waiting for the world to clap for you, validate you, or tell you that you're finally enough. You are not here to impress. You are not here to win everyone over. You are here to live, fully and honestly, in the skin you were born with and the truth you were given. The need to prove yourself is a weight you were never meant to carry. It is exhausting to wake up every day, trying to convince the world that you are worthy of love, attention, and respect. And the truth is, you never had to. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that your value was conditional, that if you didn't hustle, perform, succeed, or sacrifice, you wouldn't be enough. Maybe someone made you feel small. Maybe you were constantly compared. Maybe your worth was measured in grades, looks, productivity, or approval. And so you became a performer in your own life, always chasing applause, always needing to be more, do more, give more. But here's the reality: proving your worth is a race with no finish line. No matter how much you do, it will never feel like enough. Because you're measuring yourself by someone else's ruler. You were not created to be palatable. You were not designed to fit every mold, to wear every mask, or to meet every standard. The people who need you to shrink, to stay quiet, to be less so they feel like more. Those people were never meant to walk with you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them underestimate you. Let them go. Your life isn't meant to be filtered through their expectations. You don't need to prove that you're strong by suffering in silence. You don't need to prove that you're valuable by overextending yourself. You don't need to prove that you're lovable by bending until you break. Love does not demand exhaustion. Worth does not demand sacrifice. And real belonging doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from showing up as you are, even when it's uncomfortable, even when others don't get it. There will always be people who try to define you by the worst thing you've done, the moment you broke, the time you failed. Let them. They're not the author of your story. You are. You are allowed to outgrow the version of you they still talk about. You are allowed to walk away from people who only love you when you're pleasing them. You are allowed to stop performing for those who are committed to misunderstanding your soul. You're not selfish for choosing yourself. You're not arrogant for knowing your worth. You're not cold for having boundaries. You're not rude for being unavailable to people who only call when they need something. The world will tell you these lies to keep you small, to keep you proving, to keep you striving, but the moment you realize you don't owe anyone an explanation for how you protect your peace, your power begins. There is no freedom in people pleasing. It's a slow death of your identity. Every time you say yes when you mean no, every time you hold your tongue to keep the peace, every time you hide your truth just to keep a seat at the table, a piece of you dies. Stop proving. Start living. The people who love you don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be real. You were not put here to become everyone's favorite version of you. You were put here to be the most honest version of yourself. That means you will disappoint people. That means you will be misunderstood. That means some people will walk away. Let them. If the cost of acceptance is your authenticity, it's too expensive. You don't need 1,000,000 followers, a flawless resume, or a perfect past to be worthy. You are already enough. Right now. With your flaws, your scars, your stories. You are enough in your becoming, not just in your arrival. Stop waiting for the world to give you a certificate of worthiness. They don't get to decide, you do. Proving your worth is a trauma response. It comes from a place that was once told, you're not good enough unless. And now that voice plays on repeat in your mind. It shows up in your relationships, in your work, in the way you talk to yourself. The healing starts when you choose to challenge that voice. When you replace it with truth. You are not a project. You are a person. You are not something to fix. You are someone to love. You don't owe anyone your story. You don't have to relive your pain, just to earn compassion. You don't have to defend your choices to people who never lived your life. The more you try to prove your worth, the more power you give away. And the more you give away, the less of yourself remains. You don't need validation, you need alignment. Live in a way that feels like truth, even if no one claps for it. Choose the path that brings you peace, not popularity. That's where your real worth lies. In the quiet choices, in the brave no's, in the unapologetic yeses to yourself. You're not here to compete. You're here to connect. You're not here to outperform. You're here to align. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to be loved by the right ones. And that starts with you. You deserve your own acceptance, your own respect, your own love. Start there. Prove nothing. Just be. Let the world adjust to your truth instead of you adjusting to its noise. Be bold in your presence. Be firm in your values. Be grounded in your worth. And when the voices rise, when they say you're too much or not enough, listen, then let them pass. Because you know who you are. You've done the work. You're still doing the work. And that's more than enough. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to correct every misperception. You don't need to be everything to everyone. Your worth isn't found in what you do for others. It's found in who you are when no one's looking. And who you are underneath all the layers is someone worthy of love, peace, respect, and rest. So stop asking for permission to be you. Stop waiting for the green light to live in your truth. You've waited long enough. This is your life, your voice, your story. Own it, protect it, and most of all, believe in it, even when no one else does. Because you don't need to prove your worth. You only need to live it.